Is your marriage on the brink? Let's talk about how quitting pornography can actually save your relationship. Let me ask you something that may come across as a little harsh, but what kind of man builds a life with a woman, swears loyalty to her, and then sneaks off to get his needs met by strangers on a screen? What kind of man leaves his wife alone in bed while he escapes into fantasy? And worse, what kind of man gaslights the woman he claims to love, making her feel crazy for sensing that something is off? And you already know the answer. And if that stings, it's good. It should. Because I'm not here to coddle you. I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to call you out before you lose the most important thing in your life, your relationship. Now, let's stop pretending like pornography is just a habit. Pornography is not harmless. It is not neutral. Pornography is the reason that you don't feel close to your wife anymore. It's the reason that you find yourself snapping at your kids, zoning out in conversations, and you can't seem to connect emotionally. And it's the reason why sex for you has become transactional, mechanical, or even non existent. And if you've already been caught, or if you've confessed, then you know what I'm saying is true, that your marriage is hanging by a thread. And brother, you might be running out of time. Now, look, I've been coaching men for over a decade now, and I've seen it all. I've seen men lose everything: family, their finances, their reputation, because they kept telling themselves that, you know what, it's not that bad. She's overreacting. You know what, I'll just handle this tomorrow. I'll quit tomorrow. I'll take care of this next week. I'll see what it's like in a month. Maybe I can use willpower. But tomorrow never actually comes. But you know what does come? Divorce papers, daughters who will not look you in the eye, sons who repeat your pattern, nights alone with nothing but shame. Now, you may be in the thick of it right now. You see the look in her eyes, the way she avoids you, the way she turns her body away from you in bed. She doesn't trust you. She doesn't feel safe. And the worst part is, you don't even know how to fix it because you're emotionally numb. You don't feel what she feels. Now, you understand her pain intellectually, probably, but emotionally, you and I know that you're frozen. You can't comfort her, you can't reassure her, and you certainly can't be present. And it's destroying her. That woman is grieving the man she married. And you're over here trying to take it one day at a time with no plan, with no help, no sense of urgency. You are out of integrity. Listen, you made vows. You took on the title of husband, of father, maybe leader even. But you've been living like a slave to dopamine, sneaking, lying, escaping, numbing. So the question is, how long are you going to let this continue? How long are you going to let pornography turn you into a passive, checked out, emotionally unavailable ghoul? And that's what's killing you inside, isn't it? Not just the shame of what you've done, but the fact that no matter how hard you try to say sorry, she doesn't believe you anymore. She's cold, suspicious, distant, and you miss the way she used to look at you. You miss her laughter, her vulnerability, her affection. You're in the same house, but it feels like you're living with a stranger. And here's the truth: you can't rebuild intimacy without trust, and you can't rebuild trust without truth. But let's go even deeper, because even when she says, okay, I forgive you, things still feel broken. You try to connect, and she pulls away. You try to be romantic, and she shuts down. You want to fix it, but you don't even know what intimacy means anymore. You just want her back, but you don't even know how to reach her. So let me explain why you're struggling with intimacy. Firstly, you never learned what real intimacy looks like. You grew up watching broken relationships, yelling, hitting, manipulation, or emotional absence. Secondly, you equated sex with connection. Porn trained your brain to believe that intimacy is the same as orgasm. You learned to lie to avoid consequences, and this started in childhood. Now it's a reflex. You experience betrayal, abandonment, or abuse, so now you don't trust people to stay in your life. And finally, you've been emotionally numb for years. You've used pornography to avoid your own emotions, and now you're frozen. You don't know how to feel, let alone help someone else feel emotionally safe. And all of this makes building intimacy feel impossible. But I want you to know it's not. You just need the right process. Here's what rebuilding intimacy actually looks like. So it's not some vague love language advice, and definitely not a therapy session. I'm talking real, masculine, practical actions. So let me walk you through the steps. The first is rebuild safety or lose everything. So right now, she's not just upset, she's actually traumatized. She's going through betrayal trauma. And you may not even see it because your shame makes you blind to that. You're thinking, she's overreacting. Like, I already said, I'm sorry. I'm trying. I'm doing my best. But in her world, the man she trusted, the man that she believed in, that man is no longer there. And you didn't die. You just disappeared quietly behind a screen. Every moment you acted like everything was fine while sneaking off to watch pornography, every time you shut down when she tried to connect, every lie, spoken or hidden, that ripped a hole in her nervous system. And now she's hypervigilant. She's not watching you, she's bracing for impact, right? She's walking on eggshells in her own home. She's asking herself every day, who is this man that I'm even sleeping next to, right? How long has he been lying to me? What else don't I know? This isn't drama, it's trauma. And if you want any chance of rebuilding what you've destroyed, you must become the safest man she's ever known. Number two is stop trying to fix her feelings, start honoring them. So listen closely. If you truly want to rebuild intimacy with your partner, there's something that you need to understand. You don't get to decide when she stops hurting, right? You don't get to set a logical timeline like a typical dude for her grief. You don't get to say, but I said I was sorry, and then expect the pain to vanish. You've been numbing your emotions for years, and she just got hit with everything at once. The lies, the betrayal, the loss of safety, the years of silent rejection. You don't know what it feels like. So while you were escaping into fantasy, she was showing up in reality, loving you, trusting you, wondering why you kept drifting further and further away. And now the truth is out, and it hurts, it cuts deep. Not just because you watched porn, but because you chose pixels over presence. You chose secrecy over intimacy. You chose control over connection. So when she cries, when she rages, when she withdraws and gives you that cold, dead stare like you're a stranger in her home, that is not drama. That is grief. It's the death of the version of you that she thought she married. And what she needs isn't a solution, really. She needs a witness. So let her feel, let her scream, let her ask the same question again and again. Yes, not because I'm telling you to accept some sort of emotional torture, but because her mind is desperately trying to make sense of a world that just collapsed for her. Don't interrupt. Don't justify. Don't quote your progress as proof that she should move on from this. She's not looking for a savior. She's looking for a man who can finally sit with pain. Hers and his, yours and hers, without running. And that, brother, that is the ultimate test of your reboot. Can you sit in the fire of her emotion without making it about your guilt? Can you hold space for her heartbreak without demanding comfort for your shame? Because every time you try to fix her feelings, what you're really saying is, your pain is making me uncomfortable, so please stop hurting because that makes me feel like a bad man. That is not leadership, okay? That is weakness disguised as some sort of care. So what should you do? Well, stop rushing her progress. Start learning emotional endurance. Sit with discomfort. Practice radical listening, where you're not planning your rebuttal, but you're actually absorbing her truth. You're actually listening. You're actually present. Resist the urge to explain, to defend, to clarify what you meant. Tell her this: you're allowed to feel everything, and I'm here. I'm not going anywhere, and I understand that this is going to take time. Now, a sentence like that alone, just spoken consistently over time, with the actions to match it will do more to rebuild trust than any apology ever could. You've apologized enough. The third is relearn emotional expression, or you're going to stay numb forever. And let's be honest, you've been emotionally shut down for a very long time. I know I keep repeating that over and over again. You didn't just lose your connection to her, you lost your connection to yourself first. And you didn't even realize that it was happening because pornography gave you the illusion that you were feeling something. But in truth, every time you turned to porn instead of pain, every time you clicked instead of cried, every time you jerked off instead of spoke up, your brain was taught that my emotions are dangerous, they must be avoided. So now when your wife is raw and vulnerable in front of you, when she's expressing fear or sadness or betrayal, you freeze. Or worse, you feel irritated. You know what I'm talking about. You feel pissed off by her pain. You feel guilty, sure, but you're not connected. And you hate it. You hate how empty you feel. You hate how she reaches for you emotionally, and all you can give her is just blank eyes. Like, it's like, I don't give a shit. Right? Surface level words like cold logic. This isn't who you really are. That's the man porn turned you into. But the good news is you can come back to life. You can feel again. You can lead with your heart without becoming weak. But first, you have to thaw out, right? And that starts with something that most men in your position have never been taught to do, right? To name your emotions. Not analyze, not rationalize, not the things that made you very successful in life. Just naming things like, I feel angry and I don't even know why. I feel like the little boy pretending to be a man. I feel numb and I hate that I can't connect with you. This is not about being poetic or something like that. This is about being honest. Your wife doesn't want you to quote therapy buzzwords or pretend that you're emotionally enlightened or woo-woo or any of those things. She just wants to see the real you, okay? Whatever that is, right? The scared you, the confused you, the version of you that's not hiding behind a porn performance or pride, right? She wants to know that you're finally willing to stand in front of her without any armor to say, this is where I really am. And I want to feel again. That's where trust begins. So how do you get there? Well, start identifying your emotions daily. Not how your day went, but how you felt. Did you feel angry, anxious, grateful? Did you feel ashamed? Practice saying the words out loud and notice when you feel numb and then stay there. Don't escape from it, okay? The fourth is rebuild connection. And you can do this through non-sexual touch. You don't need performance. So what does your touch mean to her now? Does it make her feel safe, or does it make her brace herself for something? Does she flinch? Because when you've betrayed her with pornography, your touch becomes super loaded. She's wondering, does he really want to connect with me, or is he just trying to get off? What does he want? Is this affection or is this manipulation? And if every time you reach for her, it is followed by some sort of expectation, if every hug ends with your hand on her thigh, or every back rub leads to you trying to get something from her, or try to get an apology, or see if she feels good, she's going to start avoiding all forms of physical affection. Not because she doesn't want to be close, but because closeness is no longer safe for her with you. To her, your touch has become a transaction. And she's tired of being currency in an economy that is built on your need for control. And this is where most men fail, right? Like, most men assume that if I want to reconnect with my wife, then we need to fix our sex life, right? And that's wrong. You don't need to fix the bedroom first, okay? You have to fix the foundation. And that starts with non-sexual touch. Not touch that leads somewhere. Touch that means something, okay? And the fifth is practice curiosity over control. So learn how to fall in love with her all over again, right? So you've been trying to control your world for years. You probably do that in business and in your career, to control your emotions, control your triggers, control your image, control her reactions. And porn gave you the illusion that control was possible. You don't even see the connection. And in that world, no one says no. No one argues. No one feels, right? You pick the scene, you pick the body, you pick the movement, right? You press play, you escape. But in the real world, in her world, control is not connection, it's a cage. And every time you try to manage her reactions, to defend yourself during an emotional moment, to redirect the conversation or shut down her feelings because they were too much, you made her feel smaller. You made her feel less heard, right? Less safe, less seen. That's not intimacy. That's manipulation. And if you want to build intimacy now, like, you have to let go of the need to be right, or just rediscover the art of being curious. That's what I call it. Because for so long, you stopped seeing her. You stopped asking her about her inner world. You stopped learning who she's becoming, right? So you used to study her when you first dated, right? You know that, right? You hung on to her words, you asked deep questions, you explored her mind and her body, but not just her body. And somewhere along the way, between porn, pleasure, and pride, you started treating her like a constant, like a fixture in your house instead of a human in your arms. But she's not the same woman you married. And if you want to rebuild the bridge between your hearts, you're going to have to relearn her without ego, without agenda, without rushing. Begin by asking her how she's feeling, and then listen without correcting. All right? So when she speaks, don't filter it out through your guilt. Right? Just listen, stay present, stay soft. Stop trying to win her back with solutions, with logic or effort, right? Things you think she should appreciate. Instead, get close to her to understand her again. Fall in love with who she's becoming. Let her know, like, with your presence, your attention, and your patience, that she doesn't need to beg you to see her. You're finally choosing to look, right? That's what brings trust back. That's what opens her heart. Not force, but curiosity. The sixth is lead yourself first, because no one trusts a man who can't lead himself. You want your wife to trust you again, to respect you, to admire you, to feel safe in your presence. But deep down, you know what she sees right now. She sees a man who's out of alignment. She sees a man who's still hiding, still slipping, still saying the right things, but living the wrong way. You think she doesn't notice, right? She sees everything, right? She sees the fake smiles. She notices the silence, the missed commitments, those small avoidant lies. Women are very intuitive, okay? The energy is going to feel off, even if she can't explain it. And she doesn't trust your words because your life isn't backing them up, right? You want her to open up her heart, her body, her soul, then show her a man who can lead himself first. Because if your habits are still a mess, if your energy is chaotic, if you're still relying on willpower, on YouTube videos, on, scattered books that you got, little workbooks you bought from Amazon to help you with this, while white knuckling this thing alone, you are not leading. You are performing, and she can feel the difference. You can't lead her healing if you haven't done your own. You can't lead your home if you don't even have control over your behavior with your phone. You can't claim to be a protector while secretly watching other women behind her back. You don't get to say that you're a man of integrity while managing an addiction in silence. If you want to rebuild intimacy, if you want her to feel your transformation, then do what you've never done before. Go and get real support. Put your pride away. Put your ego aside. Not another podcast episode where you take notes. Not another motivational clip. Seriously, you're a grown man. A real proven system with real men who are your peers walking beside you, men who will call you out on your excuses, your lies, all your half commitments. Join a brotherhood of men who are actually quitting pornography while succeeding in life, financially and otherwise. Men who are doing the work, not just talking about it. Men who refuse to let others stay stuck in shame, in secrecy, in softness. Your wife is watching you, even if she's not saying a word. She's wondering, is he finally gonna become the man that I thought I married, or are we done? Can I trust him again? Is he actually changing? Or is he just buying us time until he slips again? Your actions will answer these questions louder than any apology ever could. So let her watch. Let her see the man you're becoming. Not because you want her validation, but because you finally decided to lead yourself with courage, with consistency, with truth. And that is exactly what we do inside the Porn Reboot intensive program for CEOs and business owners. It's not for dabblers. We don't do band-aids. We don't babysit you. We work with high-performing men who are ready to stop making excuses and start leading. It's time to stop surviving. It's time to stop waiting for your wife to, oh, she'll come around, I'm just doing the work. And it's definitely time to stop hiding behind fake progress. And if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, and you feel a little bit of a knot in your stomach, you feel called out, then I want you to know that you're one click away from changing everything. Schedule a free call with us. This is your shot to save your marriage. Don't let pride bury it.